thinking contract is something that I designed to try and incorporate different ideas of thinking curriculum. So it works upon the principles of Tony Ryan's thinking keys, Gardner's multiple intelligences, and higher order thinking, and a little bit of de Bono as well. So basically what you do is structure a number of activities on a grid based on a thematic kind of approach to whatever content you're teaching in your subject at the time. And it has to be relevant to what they've done in class. There's some prior knowledge and learning involved, and then they apply that knowledge in a more lateral or higher order thinking manner by addressing some of the different tasks that you put into this contract. And so it's to create creativity and lateral thinking. Something that was really good was down on the Strand and also in biology with Fiona, where they adapted it to change the thinking contract, which I use for classroom-based activities, into an assessment task. And so they assigned different points or grades to different activities, I guess, and then from that would assess the student for that subject or the content that they've been teaching. So students are then having some ownership of how they're being assessed and feeling comfortable with the way they're doing it, and also being able to, I guess, think laterally in the way that they do their assessment tasks. At first they're really reluctant, and all I've found in my classes they're very reluctant because they're not used to being asked to think about things. They're just accustomed to perhaps regurgitating content, and to have to take content and apply it in a creative way, or to think outside the box, or to think more laterally is very difficult for them. And in my class particularly that I tried it with, those boys who normally sit on an A or B without too much trouble find it really difficult to think creatively and to take this content and knowledge they know and try and put it in another context or apply it to a different area. So it's really challenged and pushed them. But they find at the end that they actually enjoy it, have fun with it, but there is that reluctance at first and there is some difficulty. And you have to teach thinking skills. It's not something that they just come to naturally.
I liked the story a bit. Hated the language. I just didn't understand it.
Reading the play was good. Like it wasn't not enjoyable, and we didn't get we got so much out of it. It wasn't funny, but I think when we acted it out and when we actually saw the play getting acted out, that's when I personally sort of understood it. I think we needed to see it acted out or in the movies because that's what Shakespeare wrote it for. He didn't write it so we could read it, he wrote it so that we could watch it. And watching it made it so much more understandable and clearer to me.
We acted out a few scenes with the classmates, which is pretty good. Helped us understand the play a bit better.
Yeah, I really didn't like the play that much because of how the play actually was set out, like how quickly it all worked out, how Macbeth got king that quick, and how he died in the end.
Shakespeare is a genius because he's obviously a great storyteller. He works on so many different levels. He brings back themes that are at the start, such as like the bloody hands that's used out throughout the whole play. The vision of growth. He says to Banquet that he's the plant and he's planted and he's going to grow over time, and he then uses it later in the play. His emphasis on Macbeth has murdered sleep. Lady Macbeth obviously didn't sleep and she killed herself because she couldn't, and Macbeth has gone crazy because he doesn't feel safe, so he can't sleep.
We actually saw a play, and 3 actors came out from the studios and acted it out, which has actually clarified a lot for me.
I reckon it was good learning about Macbeth. As I said, I didn't really like the play, but learning about the actual book and the play, I guess it was alright.
At times it could get boring reading slabs of the play, but I mean, can't be helped really.
To go on for the song and to be replayed over and over again since ages, I reckon that's a good thing.
I liked this unit a lot because I enjoy reading about plays that were made back in time instead of like the usual Hollywood thing today.
Because each film can be different, and our vision of that is our own, our vision of Macbeth, and we don't want to influence that in any way.
He took modern advertising back in the time. He's doing modern advertising back in his day, just as we take attractive people. Do you think you can hear me?
I loved the violence, got me excited sometimes, got me into the story.
Just as we take attractive people and because we're so obsessed with beauty these days, and put them in enjoyable and fun times because that's what we want, he made his plays full of kings and royalty and supernatural themes and like murder and greed because that's what appealed to the public in those days.
I reckon I would have liked the book a hell of a lot more if it wasn't spoken in that language. It's got a good story. I mean, it's got a good storyline, but I just don't like the way it's written.
Yeah, I enjoyed some bits of it, but some bits you're like, what is going on?
I think that it shows that Shakespeare is a brilliant playwright and that he's so far ahead of his time, and he's so smart the way he chooses his words and uses it on different levels, and every time you read it you get something new from it.